Hi, everyone, and welcome to this week's podcast. My name's Charlotte, and I work as a Year 2 teacher in a primary school in London. If you haven't heard any of Hanaz Writer's podcasts before, then have a listen on their podcast channels. They have one on Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, Podbean, YouTube, and Spotify. You can search for Hanaz Writer's podcasts on these websites, and you can start listening to all of the available podcasts on them. In this podcast, I'm going to be talking about Black History Month for 2025. Why is it still important? Why does it matter? And how is it evolving? And most importantly, how can writers, yes, writers like you, raise awareness and contribute to the cultural conversations? So whether you're outlining your next novel or drafting a poem or journaling your thoughts, this episode is especially for you. So why does Black History Month still matter in 2025? Black History Month is celebrated every October in the UK and in Ireland. In the United States and Canada, it is actually celebrated in February. It was officially recognized in the US in 1976, but its roots go back to 1926, when historian Carter G. Woodson established Negro History Week, and it was to ensure that Black history was no longer overlooked. So now in 2025, some people might ask, why do we still need a Black History Month? The answer is simple. Because while progress has been made, the work isn't finished. We still in a live we still live in a world where Black authors are underrepresented in their publishing. Black history is often reduced to about slavery, and they're talking about civil rights in schools. And Black voices still struggle to be heard in many writing spaces. So this month, Black History Month, is a time for recognition, a time for celebration and reckoning. It's not just about the past, it's about how that past continues to shape our present and then here and now. For writers, that means asking, how am I using my voice? How am I using my platform and my stories? The theme this year is the African Americans and the art. And it's kind of a perfect invitation for writers to get involved. From Langston Hughes to Maya Angelou to James Baldwin, writers like Toni Morrison, Octavia Butler, and Jacqueline Woodson. Black writers have shaped the soul of American literature. And this year's theme just urges writers and urges us to, first of all, explore how Black writing has been the tool for resistance and liberation, helps us to think about how to elevate stories that have been maybe historically silenced in the past, and reflect on how our storytelling itself can be an act of empowerment for the future and for those who don't really feel like their voices are being heard. Writers are the memory keepers of culture in this respect. And this is the perfect time to use your words to amplify Black history, celebrate Black voices, and challenge the status quo. How can writers get involved? Well, there are 5 powerful ways and 5 things that you could do. If you're a writer, you already have influence. You can help shape the narrative. You help people to see the world differently through your words. So, one of the ways that you could get involved this month is to center Black stories truthfully and respectfully. Whether you're a Black writer telling your own story or a non Black writer exploring diverse characters, be intentional in your writing. Avoid stereotypes in your writing. Do your research about things. And if you're writing outside your lived experiences, then listen first and then consider what you're writing after. Stories shape empathy, and when it's done well, it can expand the minds of everyone who reads. When it's done carelessly, then it kind of reinforces the harm and the stereotypes, and you you risk being seen as someone who doesn't research and someone who doesn't know what they're talking about. There's a kind of like a double-edged sword. You can write about it, but just be careful about what you're writing about. Number two, read, support, and promote Black authors. It is one of the simplest and most powerful things that you can do. Read more Black work, read writers who are Black and read their work, and then share their work, post about their books, review them on Amazon or Goodreads, and recommend them to your writing groups if you have a book club, or in your classroom if you're a teacher, or at home with your family. Reading is activism, and it helps to shift the spotlight onto certain people or off certain people. So, support by reading work by different writers and recommendations. If you need some recommendations, then maybe read the story The Prophets by Robert Jones Jr. You could read Black Cake by Charmaine Wilkinson or Bloodchild by Octavia Butler. There's even one called There Are More Beautiful Things Than Beyonce by Morgan Parker. So if you want to have a read of those stories and books, then go for it and then share and spread the word. If you write nonfiction, then maybe you can use your platform to highlight lesser known figures and moments in Black history. You can think about maybe if you're a writer for journalism or you're a documentarist, you could write stories about those moments in time. Maybe civil rights movements for those who were involved. Maybe you can talk about Rosa Parks, who gave up her seat, who refused to give up her seat, even, sorry, to those who wanted her to. If you're a fiction writer, you could try to incorporate the historical elements within your story, or as like past and future, and maybe joining them to meet in the middle. You could talk about real events or cultural shifts and just mention it in your book. I mean, it doesn't have to go into great detail, but you could add it in as a historical feature. And it's not something, history is not just something that we just study and it's like, oh, history is a subject that we learn in school. It's something that we tell and we keep it alive by reminding people about it and telling people about it and making sure people remember what happened in the past. You could host or participate in readings, maybe open mic nights, or join your writing workshop. Or if you have a book club, then elevate Black writers. Find a book by a Black writer or a Black poet and read the book together, participate in the readings, and just share it with other people. Collaborate with your libraries or schools or bookstores. Maybe offer a platform to spotlight emerging voices. Anyone who doesn't have a platform already, you can offer it to them, especially if you're like a bookstore owner or you work in a library or you just want to host a virtual reading feature maybe for Black poets or Black writers and just get it involved in that way. And if you're a Black writer yourself, then just claim that space and share your work because your voice matters. You can use your writing to challenge and reflect and uplift to those who read it, because not all stories need to be historical to be powerful. You can write about joy, healing, identity, maybe grief, write about resistance, write about love, and whatever your genre, fiction or poetry or an essay or screenplay, then use your pen with purpose. Don't be afraid to challenge institutions and industries that include or exclude or marginalize. And writing is power. It's powerful stuff when people read your work. As a writer, you're not just an entertainer, you can be an educator as well. You're a historian, maybe as well, and a cultural curator. Every time we write, we always write about what's happening now, the present. We could add some history to our writing and get people involved and just, yeah, as I said earlier on, keep history alive and not just something that's been and done and no one remembers, people forget. Every story that you tell and in that way contributes to the bigger narrative of who we are and what we do. So this Black History Month, use your voice to tell the untold stories. Maybe celebrate the legacy. Challenge injustice if you want. and inspire the future as well for those who read your work. Black history art, Black history, and the Black future deserves our attention all year round and not just for October or not just for February. It's something that we need to keep alive throughout the year and every day, and not just for a month. If you are interested in this, then look into it further. There's a whole website about Black History Month and how you can get involved as well. So I would say look at the website, read up on it, and find out how you can get more involved if you're really interested in this kind of thing and you want to make a difference, not just now, but for the future as well. As a writer, you can help to build your writing community. You can keep it you can make it something that's inclusive for everyone. Keep it informed so that people who read your work are knowledgeable about things, and keep it fearless and keep learning yourself as well. And it's a way for you to use your words to help change the world in the future. That's all for this podcast. Thank you very much for listening. If you like this podcast and you want to listen to more, then don't forget to like and subscribe to Hannah's Writers on their podcast channels on Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, Podbean, YouTube, and Spotify. You can also search for Hannah's Writers podcast on the websites and you can start listening to them straight away. If you're interested in becoming a published author yourself, then why not visit the Hanaz Writers website and you can sign up for free. You can write your own stories and poems, and you can also get help and guidance on how to publish them through the website. Thank you very much for listening, and until next time, bye!